Hello and welcome to F1 Manager 24. And yes, long time no see. It's been a ride this year. I'm hoping for a much better ride in F1 Manager 24. And let's be honest, we all know what we're here for. It's create a team. That's what we're doing, like everyone else. It's brand new, it's shiny, we're going for it. And just admin things out of the way, I put a post in the community section, but I am intending this to go out on Friday and the next one on Monday. Just because the way this year's gone, I'm hoping that's going to be the case, but that's the intention. I'm just going to start with 2 or 3 uploads and make sure everything's still stable, that I can continue doing that. And if we can increase it, we can increase it. If we have to decrease it, we have to decrease it. But nonetheless, this one's on YouTube. I do intend to stream these going forward, which obviously will change the composition of these videos. But this first one, I just wanted to make sure I did it on YouTube, make sure I got everything right, and make sure there was any sort of weird things within the game that I needed to pay attention to on my own without any distractions. So going forward, I will stream this, likely going to be at the weekend at some point. So pay attention to my X account. Link is in the description. Also just the Twitch account. Just follow that and you'll be fine. Let's not waste any more time. Headset on, I mean business.
Formula One. A new season and a new dawn as a brand new team lines up on the grid. That means an even harder challenge to secure that coveted championship silverware, as the on-track action is turned right up to 11. We're ready for excitement ahead as the teams return to the drawing board in the battle to end Red Bull's dominance. They'll need to balance their aspirations for high performance with the risk of pushing too far and inviting catastrophic failures out on the track. With many drivers on the last year of their contracts, team principals will need to ensure that they're kept in the right mindset across the whole season, as well as managing sponsor demands and protecting their most valuable assets from the prying eyes of their rivals. As a new competitor enters the fray, anything is possible. This is Formula One.
So a lovely new intro there from Crofty for the creator team, which rather cleverly incorporates hints to what is new in F1 24 over 23. I particularly love the moment where it says, keep your assets away from prying eyes of your rivals, and it shows Toto Wolff and then Ferrari. So let's get down to brass tacks. I'm going with team name ACGP, because AC by itself just felt a little weird, and I couldn't think of a variation that kind of had the same pizzazz. It's short, it's snappy, I like it for now. And it's easy to work with graphic-wise. Obviously, we're going to use our blank template, your story, rather than any of these other ones. Feel free to look at those in your own time. I'm going to run with 5 million starting balance. I'm going to run with 1-star facilities. And the one advantage of me not being able to utilize my early access period because I've been busy, literally the worst timing F1 Manager could have done. If they released it next week, we'd have been singing. But no, the one advantage I've had right now is the fact I've been able to see other people's episode 1s and 2s, which means I won't go for the folly of taking Car Performance 1, because from what I've seen, Car Performance 1 is appalling, and there is really no great content you can get out of that at the start. In Bahrain, I've seen them be 2 or 3 laps down. So I'm going to run with 2, because I've seen people run on 3, and they tend to be fringes of points, early teens, 12th, 13th type of thing. So I'm going to run with 2, and we're going to make sure our drivers are no better than Logan Sargent, essentially, which will be our compromise there. So the car will be in that block of the bottom 6, I imagine, because I haven't seen anyone actually run on 2 yet. I imagine they're going to be in that bottom 6, but then our drivers will be what our hindrance is there, rather than the car, which will still be bad. So with that in mind, Logan Sargent is 78 rated, which means that does knock out both Liam Lawson and Pourchaire. What it doesn't do, however, is lock out Mick Schumacher. We have a smidge of unfinished business with Mick Schumacher because never got him to a championship with Aston Martin a couple of years ago, and the colour scheme, as you may have noticed by the thumbnail, is quite similar. Now, the second car has a Wasser in it already, who is also 77 rated, but I'm tempted to go further down. Obviously, as a British person, my team is therefore British, so I am drawn to Behrman. I'm also tempted by Zane Maloney because obviously we've got unfinished business with him as well with the AlphaTauri save, the RB save as it became, of course. But you know what? I think we'll go with that unfinished business pairing because I think a lot of people are going to do Oliver Behrman. I quite appreciate the fact he's already had the step of an F1 filling in for Carlos Sainz in real life. So I feel like I ought to respect that. And obviously we'll have a drive next year with Haas. I might engineer that to be the case because I presume those tools will exist by the time we get to season 2. So if he doesn't have a role in F1 next year, I might put him in Haas as the compromise of not picking Ollie Behrman now. And I think what I'm just simply going to do with staff is I'm going to take the worst rated real person, just so I can show you the difference between the real. I'll put it on all down there, but the real ones are just notably that much worse. Now, it gets tricky with sporting directors because we do have not facing the games, I guess, in that sense. So I will take, however, the lowest rated real person that is in F1 already. So for race engineers, I'm going to attempt to repair people up again. So Gary Gannon was Mick Schumacher's. As for Zane Maloney, Matthew Ogle and Stuart King are the 2 Rodin engineers. Annoyingly, all the comms and things like that, I can't find who's speaking to him. On their website, they list Stuart King first and Ogle second, and they list Maloney first and Miata second. So I'm going to work on the assumption King is Maloney's. I might have got the other one around. At the very least, he's getting someone from Rodin. And for season 1, at the very least, I'm going to try something with the powertrain selection, because in years gone by, there has been a noticeable phenomenon in the game, and that is the Alpines, obviously somewhat hindered this year, I imagine, by their overall performance, but the Alpines are unbelievably fast at the beginning of the Grand Prix because of their fuel efficiency, which is the highest. They do have the lowest overall power, which again will help, combat the fact we've got a 2-star rather than a 1-star car. As of 2026, I might fill in the gap that Sauber leave at Ferrari, and obviously Renault themselves might become a customer team, or Alpine might become a customer team of Red Bull, maybe that's the rumours. But so when that happens, we might move off from Renault. But I'm actually intrigued by the Renault engine because everyone always ignores it because the power. But the fuel efficiency makes them really fast in the first half of the Grand Prix, which is the half that matters the most realistic, because as long as you stay in a DRS train, you're usually going to be better off. This is our colour scheme, and I've already saved our livery, which is going to look like this. I had to tinker around in the limited time I had before today. Similarly, sorted out the race suit. And the logo is difficult because it needs to, if I can get Mick out of the way, it needs to go on the nose of the car here, which is orange. So I would love the logo to be orange. I may have to pick a different livery going forward, but it doesn't look too bad on the ground. I'm running with the antlers because on the regular Cody's F1 game, there used to be a logo of like a deer or a stag, which is the one I often went for. So to homage that, I'm running with this. Obviously experienced, everything standard. So yeah, it's hard to see here, and I imagine it's going to be hard to see on the data board. So we'll have a look at that going forward. Everyone's unhappy apparently. Why is literally everybody unhappy? Biggest issue, car performance. Like, I've picked the worst staff. How are you annoyed by this? So looking at the car performance now, I think I'm justified in picking 2 stars because 17th is still out in Q1, and that's realistically our best one, high speed 15th. So realistically, we're averaging around 16th, 17th. So that's the cusp of Q1, which I'm happy to have that. And our drivers are likely just going to bring that down a smidge. And the engine might bring that down a smidge as well. I'm going to work on the assumption that the same things are strong in this year's for the same situation. So the rear wing is obviously designed for this purpose. I'm not going to like overly do it. I'm going to keep everything in the middle otherwise, apart from the minimum lifespan, which I'm just going to tick down to make sure the low speed, medium speed, we're not losing anything in those. So we're only gaining a little bit, and because the first ATR period is quite short, I'm just going to do front and rear wing. And similarly with the front, we're going to do a similar thing. It's going to reduce our dirty air tolerance and tire preservation a smidge, but so neither of them will be done anytime soon. We've run out of engineers, of course, for anything else, so that will help. It's not going to be on the first race. Sponsor negotiations are new. 1 star for Abos. Actually, a 3-star supplier, but obviously the situation is performance reliance for 1 star is lower. Weirdly, performance reliance is higher there, but they do provide more total. Abios, I think we'll run with just because I'm not keen on having a crypto more than anything as the primary sponsor at least, and they are more upfront. I think I will run with Serpent. Why is driver markability and like what seems to be both good and bad both down arrows? I don't really know what driver marketability means in this sense. Surely making them less attractive to other teams, like that's what it sounds like, is a good thing. Okay, so there's no mandatory on Aptro, I was about to say Aptro, but AppTRD. Alcor does require us to do a guided tour at some point, where it does give us 3.8. Obviously, I'm relatively against doing that, but I don't like, honestly, just from an aesthetic point of view, I don't like Farum Star's aesthetic, so I'm avoiding that one. And it's between these two, realistically, for the last one. That one does get it up front, and it is not reliant on performance, so we'll go there, I think. Gonna take some compromises, and give me a moment to put the logos and things on the car. So there we are, all kitted out. So I guess that mandatory situation doesn't come in automatically. That's just at some point in the year. I think we're going to go on with these three because I think they have the least detrimental side effects. That's a good start. Engineer improvement before we even got going. And before I forget, let's just get level 1 in everything, money-wise. We've still got 25 mil in the bank. We'll leave that for the time being before we work out what to do with it. Right, new race targets. So interestingly, overall performance apparently is 19th still. So the minimum we're actually still looking at here is 21st. I think we should at the very least target one place up with Mick, who is marginally the better of the two. I think one of us might get 20th. I might just go 21st with Zane just to be safe, but...
F1 is back, ladies and gentlemen, and the grid is set to grow. A new season is upon us as Formula One returns to the Middle East, ready to kick things off here in Bahrain. But change is afoot. The paddock has grown, the grid extended. Yes, that's right. 11 teams, 22 drivers, and the hottest competition motorsport has to offer. And keep an eye out for a new face this weekend as we prepare to see a debutant take to the track. So stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. The weekend starts here.
So, if you've been with me before, then I will do practice, but I will not show you practice. I will see you for qualifying. Okay, so at the end of practice, some things are apparent. The 2-star car with the Renault engine and the drivers we've chosen does seem to be in the ballpark I was hoping for this Road to Glory save. Some things are also apparent, and I will talk about them in qualification. We've got car park knowledge as high as we could possibly get it in that session and maximised the other two things, which should make a difference for the actual race, of course. The mentality system is still broken in that, confidence system, I should say. So as we start Q1, I will start with the basic housekeeping things. The logo situation on the timings board is a problem because the game also highlights you in your primary colour, which is the same as my logo. So I will have to change that for that purpose. There is the car in all its glory. The side logo is the one I was always concerned about because it's kind of the wrong colour. With that orange line through it, it does make it somewhat problematic. So I might just remove that one entirely and put it over one of the other ones, because that is the primary sponsor, of course, so it does need to be prominent on the side somewhere. But there's the car in all its glory. It's metallic green, kind of metallic British racing green, to be precise, and with the orange. Either gloss or satin, I can't remember which. Thankfully, the weird kind of logo for Abios with its circular thing above it, you can kind of push the circle thing off on the rear wing because it only does it on the top DRS flap, so I just get the name on the back, which looks really good there, in my opinion. But so we're either going to have to make the logo orange, in which case it just disappears from the nose cone entirely because then it's camouflaged, and then you'll be able to see it on the side, or you make it white and then it doesn't look like anything else on the car apart from the numbers, which you can't seem to edit, which is odd because last year they actually did fix the problem they had in F1 22 where they did just made every number available in every single style rather than just copying and pasting the original number onto new cars in the original style they were. Say the AlphaTauri Pierre Gasly number on the Aston Martin was still the same as the AlphaTauri design. Last year they managed to fix that and made it uniform for every number when you had driver moves. For some reason, they just appear to be white, which doesn't work too badly in our car. Sonoda's locked up whilst just driving normally at turn 1. It's not too bad, really, realistically. He's gone round the chevrons, he'll be fine. The game will have lost him percentage points, but actually crucially right now you can see on track right hand side there going down the main the sort of the penultimate straight there is an Aston Martin car, which is the one I was worried about dot wise, but it does appear like our green differs vastly from the Aston Martin, which is now crossing the start finish line, and obviously the kick one, which is luminous, so we don't need to worry about identifications on track. We can clearly see who's ours. Obviously the bigger circles helps there as well, but for the sake of this map as well, it doesn't do that. Our dots are noticeably different from the other greens. As we just had to negotiate, I think, Lando Norris or Piastri, one of the McLarens there getting out of the way. The McLaren, of course, actually, weirdly, I think, is the one that is the most difficult to differentiate ourselves from in a split second because of the orange front. The Aston Martin green is a very different green to ours. And obviously the orange helps immediately there as well. So Mick does a 131.9. I am basically just running the same principle I did last year. It's 2 flying laps, which might be a problem with... I don't know whether this is going to be a problem with ERS. Maloney clearly got held up significantly by someone there. We'll just roll this round. The fact they are going faster on their second lap does imply this is still a thing, by the way. Although Gasly has gone faster than Mick, which does kind of allay my concerns that we were going a bit too fast there. We are still going to be in a fight to get out of Q1. It does look like Ocon's gone faster as well, surprisingly. Bottom 4 have gone for a lap before the end of the session and not improved as a result of it. I was slightly worried I'd left that too late, but a car has just come out of their box. Looks like a Williams. So now we're going to go for the manual run. I'm going to presume in Bahrain it's probably best to wait until the last moment to push your tyres because they get quite hot, it seems here. So I'm going to try Mick. See, they're getting warmer now even on conserve. Oh, he's going to be fighting that AlphaTauri, which is going to help us in the long run because it was going to make that AlphaTauri's lap useless. But try Mick from there. And I'm going to wait a little longer for Maloney. His tyres have actually got warmer anyway. And now everything's on for their actual laps. Still didn't actually warm the tyres up well. We'll go on board with Mick. So I underestimated the tyre warm-up here because I thought they would get hot quite quickly even on conserve. At the very least, they will be warmer than they would have been otherwise. It's good to know, though. It's good to know. Relatively clear track is worth saying for both drivers, as Mick's got his up to temperature halfway through the lap, so slower first sector is somewhat unsurprising. Kind of hoping for a little bit more from the middle. Gasly and Show have not gone faster, which is helpful. I'm not expecting to get out Q1. We did practice at 18th and like 20th or something like that. So if we could replicate that, that would be great. Better middle sector. I might need to recalibrate my sound levels, I now realise. This feels a lot louder than it was on last year's game. Mick goes 18th, exactly where he did practice at the end. And Maloney still last. I'm glad I put his objective as 21st. So maybe if I had prepared the tyres on push from the start on manual, we may have got that 2/10 we needed. Ocon still existed. Magnussen's had a stinker there, it feels like. But I'm fine with that. That's where I wanted to be at the start of this save. Still at the bottom, but not adrift like you are when you have a 1-star car. 2 seems to be the good point. Intriguingly, they've already separated the 2 drivers on strategy. I'm half tempted to go with it. I think the only thing I would be tempted to do, and it's already an option, is C, is switch the medium and the soft. Just so the soft's at the end in case there's a safety car, whatever, then just in case there's a safety car, we can maybe go on a hard tyre early and then run that to the soft, for instance. I think it's just best to get the 2 tyre compounds out of the way early enough because I think we have a second medium as well. So if there's a safety car around 35, then we can run a second medium. And I think one thing I will just quickly do here as well is pop that 1 lap earlier just because the drivers will push. Maloney's already on a 4-star here, so now with the rear engine, I'm actually going to take a lap out. We're probably... Actually, this was saying we are probably going to get lapped. I'll take 1 lap out each just as a test. Away we go.
And Alex Albon will know just what kind of drive will be expected of him here.
Starting P10 puts them in the right place to get some points, but there's still a lot to do.
But remember, anything can happen in Formula One. This is it. 22 cars on the grid. It's lights out and away we go.
Alex Albon qualified 10th. Great work from Alex. But yeah, we're back to the... I don't know if this was always the case. I can't remember if this was the case last year. But it does really annoy me that this is in kilograms. Please put this in total laps. Because minus 1.8 is meaningless if I don't know how long 1 lap is. In fact, actually taking 1 lap out at the beginning of the race is crucial to find out how much 1 lap of fuel is. Because then I know when I get lapped, inevitably in this race, I can be minus 1.8 and still make it the end of the race. Telling us the total kilogram delta is utterly irrelevant. But no one gained a place in this first lap, so that's fun. Once again, I am going to work on the assumption that the vast swath of things are the same as they were last year, so I'm going to, in that vein, assume that everyone pushes to the first 2 laps, like they did on last year's game. Obviously, DRS is the thing on the first lap now. Everyone is in DRS, apart from Alonso, weirdly, who is under attack from Yuki Tsunoda already. Sparks everywhere, though, from everyone. The one thing about the Abrios logo on the side is it might be the one logo I actually have in its normal colour scheme, as Mick Schumacher does take Ocon there, or Gasly, as it was. Friends in another universe, rivals here on the track. This is interesting actually this year that the replays are in different cameras rather than just the standard this one, the kind of race cam, which is actually slightly annoying for me because that's where I universally grab my thumbnails from. So having them in other perspectives minimises the amount of possible thumbnails I can get out of this. Oh, Maloney has done a thing here before he's actually got to the DRS activation. I'm pretty certain the detection is earlier. Yes. The detection is before the bend, so he got the overtake done and then just drove away. Good work. And then has dropped Zhou Guanyu, it seems. Similarly, Mick has dropped Gasly. Oh, ERS Battle Assist is on naturally. I'm going to turn that off because in last year's game, it did slow you down. Now I'm just wanting them to kind of back off and get into a rhythm. I'm not really asking them to overtake at this stage, as that camera angle was a bit bizarre, but Lonnie's got on the back of this train, which is headed by Ocon. Bottas doing well, holding on to the Stroll train ahead. Everyone popping their rear wings open here, apart from Zhou Guanyu at the back. Sorry, Zhou. Just try and get those tyre temperatures down a smidge. Get them to drive in free air if we can. I'm hoping that doesn't drop them off. Because driving free air, I feel like, is just move out to the side rather than drop off. But it's not looking great at this stage. Yep. Taking it off immediately. Maloney seems to be faring better with it for whatever reason, but Mick just dropped straight off as soon as I took it off. So why has his strategy changed? I'm just going to turn the general master audio down on the game because I think, in case you're wondering why it's quiet, I've just turned the stuff down. Maloney's gone wide, I'm pretty certain there. It's actually Leclerc that's run wide. Lost him nothing. For some reason, Maloney has dropped off Gasly, and I don't really know what's happened there. ERS Battle Assist works when I think it's like a one-on-one fight. When you're in a train, it is problematic. Or in clear air, it's problematic. Okay, so I got Maloney back into range of Gasly. That's fine. Mick's been taken there. Interesting new dialogue. Just arbitrarily just telling me the turns are fine. I'm so confused. I got Maloney into DRS range, and now he's immediately not in DRS range. I'm so confused by this. I spent some of the tyres to get him back in range. He had DRS, and now immediately doesn't have DRS again. The whole point of the whole point of this stint is actually 4-star anyway, so never mind. Ocon's just locked up there, who is going to vacate himself from this particular chain, which might actually cause a problem for Mick long term as well there, as we just go through along with Gasly. And there's Maloney behind, because Mick's now not in DRS either, as there is now a car gap between him and Magnussen, which he was utilising before. I think Maloney just took Ocon as well. Yay, he's got someone to hunt. Oh, on-board camera angle, that's kind of fun. Oh, and it changes as well, mid-highlight. All right, Zane, let's not get cocky. You're our 20th. Since Mickey's kind of in a one-on-one battle, I might actually put the assist on here. Unsurprisingly, Ocon gets him Maloney back anyway on that next straight, since they are detached. Mick fell out of the train and there's nothing I can do about it, because his tyres are so much worse. I think Ocon's had another problem. Either that or his tyres got damaged when he went wide. No, Ocon's tyres didn't get damaged. He's on mediums as well. Didn't even bother checking he was on mediums. Okay, so Gasly and Albon have come in the pits. Let's go attack Hulkenberg and Sargent this turn. We'll get Mick in next time around. Try and maximise Mick's tyre wear capabilities here. Same lap as Magnussen, who has cleared him, but right to the end we go. For some reason I left Maloney on full attack there, which doesn't really matter too much because it's getting him still roughly to his pit stop lap, but had to be wary there. I actually kind of feel like Maloney's relatively decent on his tyres because he's still on 38% with a lap to go, having been on 5 push for however long that was. So Mickey is just a smidge behind Hulkenberg. Oh no, Mickey is 9 seconds behind Sargent. I got my drivers the wrong way around there. So Mickey is about 10 seconds behind Sargent somehow, but Ocon is adrift of him for the time being. Maloney comes in this lap, just burning what's left of these mediums. Apparently punctures are a lot more common now, sub 30%. I just wish the tyre wear was just better, like the percentages. A fresh soft does need to still be better than a 10% used soft, and so on and so forth. Like the S-curve of tyre wear needs to be improved. It still feels a little too linear. Or not even linear, really. Like a 40% doesn't feel that much worse than an 80%. It's kind of almost the wrong way around. It's kind of almost just like a very shallow degradation, and then as soon as it gets to 30%, boom, gone. Whereas it needs to be kind of an S, and then still the drop-off. Softs for Maloney. Does find himself right behind Ocon. We've obviously got an undercut there. But he is right behind him. So we have recovered 0.7 of a kilogram of fuel in the 19 laps we've been off push. There are 36 laps to go, so I am going to have to do a bit of fuel saving. I'm still going to have to save a little bit manually at some point. The thing is, I can't really push with either of these two tyres too much, especially not Maloney's. I won't be surprised if we find out very quickly, like a 3-stop attack mode would have been faster still. Unfortunately, this stage of the Grand Prix, whilst we have made the better decision of not being like well adrift, choosing the 2-star car over the 1-star has given us something to pay attention to, at least in the early stages. Unfortunately, still not a lot happening, although Ocon is getting closer to Mick for some reason. I might start hurrying him up a little bit. It'd be great if I could get him closer to Bottas, which hasn't happened. So I'll just leave him to it. Weirdly, he got closer once I stopped pushing him. Oh, we're being lapped now, which is causing carnage in terms of the deltas. Oh, that's the point. I don't need to save fuel. I know it's minus 1.8, and we have now been lapped. I'm still going to give us like a buffer of like a half a kilogram, which is what we're on right now. I might just allow that buffer to go to sort of -1. Who's come off? I don't tell me Zhou Guan Yu at turn 1. It was Sergeant who span, apparently. Oh, yeah, there is a spin. Who's that behind? That was a Haas. Oh, they've got back on the track quite quickly there. That's a little bit more impressive. I'm actually happy to see that. Wait, the pit window has entered for Maloney. Interesting. The thing is, he appears to be exactly on par, but good to like 19% off. Ocon's pitted, so I am tempted to pit him early, but never mind. How have Gasly and Maloney crashed? They weren't on the same part of the track. Maloney was catching Mick. How has Gasly caught him? He's lost his front wing. What has happened here? Oh, Gasly caught Maloney without me noticing. Great. Let's focus on the Alpine garage. It makes me think they're going to get the penalty. I'm not convinced it was ours. Is it just front wing? It is just front wing. Minor chassis, but that's not too much of a problem. Confirm now, mate. Yeah, we're already pitting. It's fine. So they both got the damage warning because somehow we've plonked his rear wing there. Not sure how that works. Okay, so Maloney does get the penalty. I kind of felt like he turned into him, but it feels right. Maloney didn't lose a huge amount of time. He's at the opposite end of the straight. Because he only had half a wing. The fact he only lost that much is ridiculous. Ooh, Magnusson with a pit stop issue. That's going to be helpful. No point watching it, but it's going to be helpful. Which is kind of fortunate that happened basically when we were going to pit him anyway. Got to serve the penalty. Why have we not served the penalty? Alright, so I'm going to assume that 5 seconds is going to apply at the end. Not that it's going to matter to him because he's 20 seconds off now. And Ocon has pitted again, I know that much. We're about to be lapped by Ricardo, I think it is. With Maloney, which is depressing because he's 11th. He's not even in the points. Mick's about to be lapped by... I paused because there was a yellow flag, but it's just Sergeant again going wayward. Where is this? Turn 3? Turn 3. No, that's penultimate straight. So pit window is open for Mick. It's only 2 laps till he comes in. Go for it, Mick, mate. Go for it. Zhou spun. Forgot to take Maloney off his push mode. Maloney might not finish last, actually. He's 12 seconds ahead of Zhou Guan Yu now. Zhou's pitted. I use the last set of full softs here for Mick. Gasly's still wounded because the rear wing can't be changed. So that's probably almost going to be a free position for Mick in these last 15 laps. He'll have to catch him, but he'll pass him probably. Which makes me feel like Mick's upper threshold here for this race will be 19th. Oh no, it'll be 20th because Ocon's going to get past Gasly. Which is what his reward is for, what our team reward is for, isn't it? Is 20th for Mick and 21st for Maloney. So weirdly, we've got that exactly right. Feels like it's taking ages for Mick to get around here. 15 laps to go. Not a huge lot to fight for now because Maloney's 17 seconds trip with a 5-second penalty. Only Zhou Guan Yu is the problem in that regard. Hulkenberg's locked up in turn 1. He's already out and I think had 2 stops. Yep. Bottas hasn't had a second stop. Actually, Mick might be able to get 19th after all. Or 18th, actually. I did miscalculate. Mick can get 19th if he gets past Gasly. Comes out irritatingly close to Maloney, who had to change his front wing, though. And I think I can actually push Mick a little bit more because there's a quite healthy margin at the end of this stint. So we'll definitely bring his tyres up to temperature. And we've been lapped. Just the one. As things stand. Where is the leader? Penultimate straight. So half a lap ahead. I think we'll be okay for 2 laps. Oh, so Gasly hadn't pitted, actually, so that was just a free stop anyway. Free place, I should say, sorry. Bottas now in. Mick is 20 seconds behind him. I don't think we're going to get Bottas in the pit stop. Might get him on the outbound, but we might not get him in the pit stop itself. Yes, Valtteri does just get the track ahead of Mick. Hello. Let's grab this then, please. We'll turn on battle assist since we're not driving in free air for a change. I can't wait for someone to actually do the calculations on battle assist and whether it's actually useful this year. Because like I say, it was only useful in one-on-one fights like this. If you're in a train / in free air, then it wasn't useful at all last year. Is he on mediums? Bottas is on mediums. Watch a highlight because we haven't had it. Helicam mode.
Give it a go.
I like.
Dankeschön. Thank you very much.
Like the fact Mick's still got dedicated voice lines from Crofty there. I need Mick to drive away, really. He's 1 lap down. I could probably push the fuel. I think it kind of depends on how much of a push Bottas is on. Might almost be worth Bottas getting past, getting through his push period, and then going for it with Mick. Because I think typically the AI push on the out lap and the following lap, so like 2 laps once they've pitted. So Mick will have the DRS going down this main straight now. So I think it's almost worthwhile Mick pushing now, giving it everything, to then get out of DRS range. Oh, another unuseful angle here. Great. Maloney is getting closed in. Mick's cleared Bottas by 1.5 seconds, so I think we can take everything off now. That's that kind of extra buffer we had on those tyres used up. I might have to push Maloney's fuel to the end of this race just to get him there ahead of Gasly, because obviously there's that 5-second penalty still. / Zhou Guan Yu for that matter. Because Zhou's going for it now. Whilst I was paying attention to that gap, the other kick has ruined Mick's race there. Maloney might be 2 laps down. No, he's still only one. I think we're just going to have to accept that Zhou Guanyu will get it within 5 seconds of Maloney. Oh, it's actually really tight. Oh, actually, the saving grace. No, Maloney's going to get caught again, which means we can push the fuel with him. That's the leaders there, and there's 3 laps to go. Although it'll be... Actually, if I attack with everything on Maloney, try to keep him ahead of those 2 coming behind. There's only 3 laps to go there as well. Push mixed tyres, see if we can get him into DRS range with Bottas on these final few laps. Oh, he's just been lapped himself, which is what the problem is. Actually, if he follows the Merc to Bottas, is Maloney 2 laps down now? He is. He did get lapped. But crucially, he's now well ahead of Zhou Guanyu. No, we don't. Dear Frontier, please understand when we've been lapped. Please put that in the game. So, I'm sorry, where did this happen? Oh, it's exactly what I wanted him to do. Bye, Valtteri. Thank you, George, on the assumption that you got the TCAM colours correct. Yes, that is George. So I think this is the last... Who's leading? Verstappen. So Verstappen's up here. So I think this is the final lap for Verstappen. So Mick will go across the line one more time. Just take the tyres down a smidge here, Mick. Mick's actually going to unlap himself on George here, then immediately have to give it back up again because that's going to be actually problematic with Valtteri, I think. Don't bother pushing now. Don't bother pushing. Just stay behind him. Just stay behind him, Mick. Don't bother overtaking him. You're clearing Bottas. You're outside the DRS range. If you try and unlap yourself, it'll just force you to go back behind him again because it doesn't understand that you can actually go faster than the cars that are lapping you. Maloney is crucially behind the leader here, so next time he crosses the line, he will finish the race. So there's actually 0 reason for you not to... Actually, that's a valid point. I don't want a delta at all. I just want to know how much fuel is remaining. A delta is totally irrelevant. I need to know how much is left in the tank because once you've been lapped, as long as there's some fuel in the tank, then I can cross the line. Sorry, what? I didn't realise there was someone still to overtake from Mick. He's done it to Ocon as well. Totally irrelevant. No points, doesn't matter. But countback is a thing. Mick has jammied his way past Ocon as well, and crucially got out of DRS range. So I think Maloney has finished once Mick's voice lines stop ending there. Oh, no. Okay, so this is now the last lap for everyone. Go standard, Mick. I needed these tyres to get to the end. So it does track the leader's lap. I thought it was our lap was what was tracking on here. But we're still above on the tyres. I might as well just use the rest of these, actually. As long as they're above 30%, they have some function. So Zane's across the line. Everything's gone off there. He's got fuel. He's okay. Zhou Guanyu was 4.3 seconds behind there in the end. He should have got back. I wonder if that'll trigger after the race then. Other than that, we've just cheesed the game and it doesn't really matter because 20th versus 21st. He still would have got his bonus because I said his for 21st. The 2 Aston Martins have actually further saved Mick here because they pushed Ocon 3 seconds behind him. And I don't think they're going to catch Mick by the end of the lap. So they can't, the 2 behind, Ocon and Bottas, cannot do what Mick did to hit them to him. So Mick will cross the line, 1 lap down, which should be fine fuel-wise because we know that's minus 1.8. In 17th. It's not a total disaster, but we do have plenty to work on, which is exactly where I wanted to be for the start of this series. We're exactly where we want to be kind of quality-wise. Obviously some tweaks need to be done visually here, but other than that, we'll be all right. Best of the worst. I'll take that in this race.
That's not the sort of performance we'd expect to see, really.
Yes, it is, Karun. Now, sorry, Crofty, I'm going to talk over you here, but there is going to be a problem in this series in the sense that Maloney, if he ever gets a podium, will never see it because the game doesn't put those drivers on. Unless they fix that this year. Like, I don't mind if they've still got helmets on and it looks stupid, but...
Main target now will be finding some consistency for sure.
We've had 1 race, Karun. It's impossible to have consistency after 1 race. It is a data point at this stage. So ultimately out of that, George Russell, who didn't get into Q3, ends up 8th. Daniel Ricciardo, the main sufferer there, along with Albon, who did get into Q3. Kevin Magnussen gains 6 places and ends up 15th. Mick up 2, Valtteri down 4. Zane does go up a place, does have a penalty. It did apply after the race. It did apply after the race, so he is behind Zhou Guanyu. A little annoying, he just didn't do it on the time on the left, but never mind. Yeah, so I think I'm going to change the colour of this. I'm going to make it slightly bigger as well, I think. Because it seems small, but I suppose width-wise, it's about the right size. Does mean we are 9th, just on the virtue of our best drivers finish. I'm going to presume we didn't get fastest pit stop there at all, no. So, work to be done there. I do need to actually set that training schedule up. It didn't tell me to do that. So we did get another 500k because they both met their targets in the end, even with the penalty. And Maloney immediately 76. So there is some admin. No one's now no one's sad, apparently, as well. So I think this is a case of, oh, cool. He had 1 chassis, apparently. Oh, no. No, we're fine. Oh, did they give us like a free, like upgraded singular chassis or something? Like with like 0.001. Maybe they did that. I don't know. Before we go though, I will just actually quickly... Oh, they've changed the way this looks. I don't know if that's better or worse. So what's your lacking, really? Braking's not great. Overtaking's not great. Smoothness isn't good. So definitely one with smoothness. Smoothness and controls in that one. Smoothing, overtaking, defending. I think we'll go race strategy for Mick. As for Zane, he does have good smoothness. I thought he did. His control's really good as well, actually. So it's realistically braking reactions for Zane. If there's one that has both of those, that would be superb, but there isn't. I do dislike this. Adaptability is bad as well if it rains. I think because this has braking and adaptability and accuracy, all of which are on the low side, we don't have reactions. We'll do pace short runs for Zane. So because Gary Gannon was his engineer, I think I've got the wrong engineer for Zane based on the affinity. So because they already have great affinity, I don't need to focus on communication for Gary Gannon. I think maybe composure should be the priority. Feedback and composure, please. Whereas, because Zane does have low, I don't think it really matters too much, though, in the long run. They'll get there eventually. And by the time they do have great affinity, it's not going to matter. Oh, yeah, the affiliate system. Yeah, he does have a dumb salary. The generated drivers have stupid salaries, and I can't terminate it because it's 2 million to do so, but you kind of almost have to suffer with them for the first year. Just realised I didn't scout anyone, so I'm just going to work my way through the F1 Academy drivers. Just like Hawkins might be a shout. But I'm going to start with Bianco and McLaren, and then we'll work our way through all of them, I think. We'll start with them, and maybe we'll throw in like an Oliver Behrman, not necessarily Oliver Behrman actually, but throw in maybe some F2, F3 drivers in the long run. So maybe we can actually change the training schedule. What is going on here? Right, I'm going to fix all this stuff off camera, but this will be it from me. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching me. I will see you soon. Like I say, I plan to stream this and then bring the highlights to YouTube. That way I'm more efficient and I get to interact with you guys as we play the races. We'll, of course, change the look of the series a little bit, but beyond that, it should be all much the same. So thank you for joining me. I will see you very soon, Monday, hopefully. Until then, ta-ra.